Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Let me adjust this a little bit. I thought I'd get on here and film a pregnancy update. It's been an eventful couple of days, really an eventful week for the pregnancy, I guess I should say. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to go ahead and film a 27-week pregnancy update. I'm in my 27th week this week. And it's so crazy that we'll probably be having a baby in less than 10 weeks. I'm 27 weeks, 2 days today. With everything going on, it looks like the baby, maybe not, maybe I'll be able to go a little bit longer and everything will end up being smooth the rest of the way. But it looks like the baby will probably be here in like 10 weeks or less. So I thought I'd give an update on how I'm feeling, everything about the baby, a couple exciting things, and just kind of my hospital stay and hospital stay. I wasn't there super long, but just kind of give an update. It's an easier video for me to film videos like this, and so I probably need to be filming, I want to continue working and filming videos the rest of the pregnancy, but probably not a bunch of all day cleaning videos. I probably won't be able to do things like that, or at least right now I probably won't. But anyways, let's get on to my 27-week pregnancy update. So 27 weeks and I feel good. Baby is moving really good, moving a lot more. I did, I don't know if I still do. I haven't had an ultrasound in several weeks, but I did have an anterior placenta. So that kind of, I think I said this in my last update that I did, that kind of, a lot of times you don't feel as much movement until a little bit later with an anterior placenta, because the placenta is in front, right in front of your uterus. So the baby's kind of behind that, I guess, is kind of how I picture it. Anyways, or kind of how I understand it. But the baby has been very healthy. Everything has been healthy so far with the baby. Y'all probably have saw on Instagram, I talked about it on here a little bit. I have had some blood pressure issues, and going back to my past pregnancies, I have had preeclampsia my last 2 pregnancies, and it normally does not come up though until the end, and usually I can make it and I'll be induced at 37 weeks has been my last 2 pregnancies. So that's kind of why I said I'll probably have about 10 weeks or less, because that'll be 37 weeks. I'm just kind of assuming with everything going on, hopefully I can make it to that. But normally my blood pressure starts creeping up after the 30th week. 32 weeks, it'll super slowly come up. I could go in, it might be 140/80 or 140/90, but it'll come back down with rest. But it has been a lot higher than even the last 2 pregnancies. I don't really remember it getting as high as it's been. However, it's still not, for the most part, at the point to where it's really, really worrisome. The only worrisome thing is it's just happening so early this time, and so we just hope the preeclampsia don't show up a lot earlier than it normally does. So that's the biggest thing. I noticed last Wednesday I had a little bit of swelling in my feet, and I haven't had any swelling at all, which swelling can be normal, especially in your feet during pregnancy, but sometimes it may not be so normal. So I decided to check my blood pressure at home. I have an automatic blood pressure cuff. We also have a manual one, and Ethan knows how to do that. So sometimes if I'm I feel like this thing is off, Ethan could check it, and he seems to be pretty good with it. My sister-in-law taught him how to do that. She's a nurse, but I noticed my feet were a little swollen after cooking dinner, and so I decided to check it, and it was pretty high. It ended up coming back down lower by that night, and then I woke up the next morning and it was back up again. So I called the doctor, and which y'all have already heard this, but some people may not have watched that video, but I called the doctor. I saw her. It's a doctor that I typically don't see. It's not my normal doctor, but she's a good doctor, and I went and saw her, and she didn't seem too concerned. She ran some lab work for preeclampsia HELLP syndrome. The lab work, she told me it was normal, and so I just keep a check on it every single day. Usually I'll check it several times a day, but at least a few times a day, just to make sure everything's good. That was Thursday when I saw her. Sunday has been my worst day. I started having, my blood pressure was high, and then I had headaches, swelling, a little bit of blurred vision. It ended up coming back down a little bit after I rested, and so that was probably my worst day so far. I become like symptomatic, and a lot of times even when my blood pressure is high, I don't become symptomatic with it, but I did that day. Since then I've felt a lot better, but I did have my 27-week regular prenatal appointment yesterday. I went in, it was yesterday evening. So I went in, I had been checking my blood pressure all day, and it hadn't been too bad all day. So I was expecting it not to be super high when I went in. I also had my glucose test yesterday, which I did pass. I think it was like 98, and it has to be below 130. I did pass that, so that was good. No gestational diabetes, but I went in, they checked my blood pressure, and the nurse was like, do you normally have high blood pressure? It was a nurse that I normally don't see, so I guess she didn't like read my chart. I said, yeah, I have over the past week, especially. And let me also say, I never have high blood pressure outside of pregnancy. It's always really good. But she said it's 160 over 100. And normally when it's 160 over 110 is when they say you need to go get checked out once it gets to that point. But my regular doctor walked in, my nurse had me lay on my left side. My doctor walked in and he said, I think we should send you to the hospital to get more lab work drawn, which is the lab work that they drew the previous week. I want to go ahead and get that because he said, I can tell by your lab work from last week, it's kind of like starting to creep up. And so he said, I want to do that and get you monitors since your blood pressure is pretty high. And so I went to the hospital, and when I got there, my blood pressure came down a lot lower and the blood work came back good. So I went in there, but like 2.5 hours probably, thankfully, because that bed was awful. Awful. I was like on a stretcher, so it was awful. Baby looked really good. I was hooked up. They drew blood, urine sample. Everything actually came back good. So he just told me what to watch out for. He said, you know, if we may look into putting you on blood pressure medicine, kind of see how things go. If we see that your preeclampsia might start acting up soon, then we may start giving you steroids for the baby if we think the baby might have to come sooner. I'm just really praying that the baby can stay until, he said our goal is at least 36 weeks, preferably 37. I'm really praying the baby can stay in as long as possible. To 37 weeks is what I'm praying, because even at 37 weeks with Millie, she still had breathing problems, and so I don't want to have an early baby. It's like scary to think about. I can only imagine how hard the NICU life is, number one. Number two, I can only imagine how hard it is during COVID, and I can only imagine how hard it is when you have multiple kids at home. And so I was telling Ethan, like, I can only imagine how hard it is to navigate. Like, when should someone be at the NICU? How long should they be there? But you also have kids at home. And so I can only imagine how hard that is to navigate. So anyone that's ever had a baby in the NICU, I can only imagine how hard that was. And so we're really, really praying that everything will stay calm until the end. So that's kind of the update on my hospital visit. Yeah, that's kind of basically all that happened. He sent me home because everything looked good, and I was so thankful for that. So speaking more of baby, I believe we may have baby names. They have been baby names because we're trying to pick a boy and a girl name since we don't know the gender of this baby. It has been so hard because so many names I think of and we're like, kind of maybe like, I also don't know if I can imagine that being our baby's name. And it's been so much harder this time, I think, because we've already named several babies, but we also don't know the gender, which makes it harder. But I believe we possibly have baby names. And like I said, as of this morning, we have been talking about a couple names, and a girl name, a middle name kind of popped up yesterday. I saw it on Pinterest. And I was like, I can imagine this as a first name as well. But the girl name we've kind of thought of that name goes as a middle name really well with it. And there's been a boy name that we like. We're gonna like talk about it more, and I don't want to order what we're gonna order for the name reveal yet. I'm gonna give it at least a couple weeks to kind of make sure that we like those names. We can imagine our baby with that name. I think we possibly could have a name, which is exciting because it's been so tough, like I said. Also, I created an Amazon baby registry, which I've never done before. I only did that because multiple people have told me that I need to do that so that way I can get the completion discount. And I think I can get that within a few weeks. Like whatever's left on your registry, I think you get like a 15% coupon. I don't know all the rules on it, but I did do that because there is several things that we need, because we've gotten rid of so many things when we moved. We just didn't want to bring a bunch of stuff with us. I did do that, and I've kind of just started it, but I did do that so I can get that completion discount, and that way I don't have to pay full price for everything. I think I'm gonna wait till I get that discount before I order everything else we need. So that's exciting. I still feel like this baby's a boy. No reason for that other than I just feel like it is. Ethan still feels like the baby's a girl, and the girls are hoping that the baby's a boy. So we'll see. I just like my instinct, I guess. It'll be interesting to see if I'm right or wrong with this one. Never really had an instinct before. Millie's knocking on my door. Delaney and her watching TV while I film this video. Never really had an instinct before. We've always found out like 15, 16 weeks. But this time I just have like just a feeling that it is. But I'm gonna show y'all the 27-week belly. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to update on other than like the biggest things that's happened over the past few weeks. I have a dress on, but just because it's so comfortable and I wanted to wear that to film this video as I'm sitting here. But let me show y'all my 27-week belly. This is my 27, trying to think of the best way to show y'all, my 27-week belly for this baby. All right, I'm getting off here because my feet are starting to swell and I'm gonna go lay down for a little bit. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. I'm so excited to bring y'all along over these next several weeks as we welcome a new baby and as we figure out who this baby is. And hopefully it'll be an uneventful next several weeks. But I will see you guys soon. Let me go grab Millie. I'll see you guys soon for another video. Bye.